Can Daniel Dubois do it? Probably not, but he's young, he's heavy-handed, he's confident, and he's in the fight.
Eddie Hearn stuns the boxing world by hinting Daniel Dubois might be the one to finally end Alexander Usyk's reign, despite doubting his chances.
I think Dubois got to hurt him. But the reality is whether it was a low blow or not, Usyk does not like it to the body. You know, that was one incident. I mean, that low blow didn't hit him in the nuts, right? It hit him in the lower part of the stomach. And if it was 2 or 3 inches higher, it would have had the same effect. And I think the fight would have been over, and Daniel Dubois would have been the world heavyweight champion. Dubois got to be aggressive, he's got to land, and he's got to start fast and try and make it uncomfortable for Alexander Usyk. And that's something that's difficult to do.
Hearn has stirred up the boxing world with a bold prediction about the upcoming Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois rematch, saying Dubois has incredible momentum heading into the fight. While Usyk and Dubois last clashed in August 2023 in a fight that ended in controversy. That night in Poland, Dubois landed a body shot in the 5th round that appeared legal to many viewers, but was ruled a low blow by the referee. Usyk was given time to recover and eventually stopped Dubois in the 9th. The ruling left Dubois and his team frustrated, with the belief that they had been robbed of a potential upset. That moment has lived rent-free in Dubois' mind ever since, and now, nearly a year later, he returns with a mission not just to win, but to erase that memory for good.
On a good place, on good level, and myself, physically and mentally, I'm ready to go, man.
And for this fight to take place at Wembley, how much does that mean to you?
Oh, it's amazing. It's going to be a massive event, similar to this one today. It's going to be global, worldwide, and everyone tuning into it. I can't wait. It means a lot to me.
Eddie Hearn, who knows the heavyweight scene intimately, thinks Dubois is entering the fight with all the right ingredients, even if he's been a bit inactive. He pointed out that the missed fight with Joseph Parker may end up being costly, given that Dubois will be returning after 10 months away from the ring. Despite that, Hearn believes this version of Dubois is far more dangerous than the one Usyk faced before. According to him, the confidence built from stopping 3 big names back-to-back cannot be underestimated. He also made a realistic observation. Dubois has the power to end fights, and in the heavyweight division, that means he's always in with a shot.
It's a great run.
Even so, Hearn acknowledged the daunting challenge of defeating someone like Usyk. Bigger men than Dubois, like Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, tried to walk him down and failed. He doubts Dubois can do it either, but he still gave the British slugger a puncher's chance, citing his youth, strength, and current mindset. Dubois himself isn't shy about how he views this rematch. He's openly called Usyk arrogant and past his best, and he's entering the fight with more than just redemption on his mind. For him, this is personal. He wants to take everything Usyk has left, his reputation, his belts, and potentially his career. He's made it clear that this is no ordinary title defense. It's a mission to dismantle a champion and write a new chapter in heavyweight history.
You've won numerous titles all the way since you were an amateur, but to win this fight, what does it mean?
It means the world. It means conquering everything the sport has to offer, the top of the game, undisputed. Is everything in boxing, so you know I'm going to give it everything.
Every day that you come here, I've said this to you before, but I do think mental preparation is a huge thing. This lovely gym, the Farm Gym in Elstree, every time you park your car, you see Wembley Arch. You see the scene of your greatest night against Anthony Joshua. As you pull up there, do you visualise back under that Wembley Arch, and what do you see when you see it?
Yeah, it's about recreating that whole thing again, you know. We was just seeing that Wembley Arches out there, so it's all meant to be, isn't it? Now I'm fighting that there again, so yeah, bring it on.
While his bravado may sound bold, Dubois has been backing it up with discipline and focus. He's trained intensely, ignoring distractions and outside noise. His goal is to dominate, not just compete. According to those around him, the mindset shift is clear. He's no longer the one-dimensional brawler who lost to Joe Joyce. That fight, in fact, seems to have been the turning point in his evolution. Since that setback, he's been steadily improving, both technically and mentally.
Do you believe that he is still at the peak of his powers, Alexander Usyk? So if you beat Usyk, you're beating the best Usyk, or do you think there are signs that he's creaking at all?
No, I believe I'm going to beat the best Usyk there is on the night, and that's all I got to do. That's all I got to worry about, and yeah, creating history.
presumably that's what you want as well. So you'll say when, I'll say if, but when you beat him, people say you beat the best. You know, you beat the best, not someone that was towards the end of their career. Even though he's come out and said he's got 2 fights left, you want the credit for what you're going out there to achieve.
Yeah, I'm just tunnel vision on my journey, making my legacy, leaving my mark on this sport, and worked really hard to get here. I'm not going to be denied now. I'm at the door, and I'm just going to kick it in.
Many in the boxing world have taken notice of Dubois' growth. Ricky Hatton, a respected voice in British boxing, pointed out how far Dubois has come since that Joyce loss. He praised Dubois' bounce back, noting that beating fighters like Miller, Hrgovic, and Joshua isn't something to brush off. According to Hatton, those wins have done more than pad Dubois' record. They've reshaped him into a legitimate world-class contender.
Alexander Usyk, Daniel Dubois, what do you make of that fight, the rematch?
I think it's the best fight. I think they're the best 2 heavyweights in the world, and there was a bit of controversy with the last time, which goes with the grain in boxing, doesn't it? A bit of controversy, but no, I think Daniel's got a better chance than he had the first time. Yeah, what with the win off Joshua, that his confidence is massively up. Well, when he fought Usyk last time, he come off the defeat from Joyce, and but now he's absolutely flying. He's got as good a chance. Better chance than he had the first time around, I think.
Derek Chisora, who's shared the ring with both Usyk and Dubois, provided a more cautious analysis. While he's seen the improvements in Dubois, he remains hesitant to count Usyk out. Chisora's experience with the Ukrainian champion taught him one thing: Usyk's composure under pressure is unmatched. It's that mental strength combined with technical brilliance that makes him so hard to beat. Chisora didn't make a clear prediction, but leaned slightly toward Usyk based on his consistency at the elite level.
Derek, in regards to yourself, are you going to just sit back and see what happens with Dubois and Usyk first?
Yes, because I want to sit down and watch it. So, give a shout out to Daniel. Good luck anyway. You'll be fighting a guy who's very on point. So, yeah, I'll be watching.
Another big voice weighing in is Prince Naseem Hamed, who remains convinced that Dubois had Usyk hurt in their first encounter. Hamed is one of the many who believe that body shot in the 5th round was legal and pivotal. To him, it exposed a rare moment of vulnerability in Usyk. Hamed feels that if Dubois can replicate that pressure but stay within the rules, he has a real chance to shake things up. He even suggested that Dubois could take control and win decisively, which would mark a major shift in the heavyweight landscape.
Do you think both of them coming off losses? It's the fight we always wanted to see as domestic boxing fans.
Yeah, I suppose that fight is right there, and everybody still wants to see it. But to be honest, we've still got Daniel Dubois, and I was sat next to Daniel Dubois.
Triple D, baby.
Triple D, baby, all day, every day. Let me just tell you this. In my eyes, for me, he's the only one. Triple D is the only one, Daniel Dubois is the only one that's ever hurt Usyk and put him down on the floor, made him think. And he was down there for like 3-4 minutes. So who's to say that once he fights Usyk again, to go out there and absolutely destroy him and bring our belts back to our country like it's supposed to be.
Dave Allen, who has sparred with Usyk, offered his view from close range. He praised Usyk's ring IQ and overall skill set, but also pointed to how much Dubois has changed. Allen believes the younger Brit has developed into a more well-rounded fighter who's no longer just relying on his knockout power. In his eyes, this rematch is far more balanced than most people think. It's not just a long shot, but a true 50-50 fight.
I think Dubois will be in. That's my early prediction. I know a lot of people will obviously fancy Usyk, and rightfully so. And as much as I like Dubois and think he's getting better and all the rest of it, I'd like to see Usyk win. I think Usyk's a great fella and a great fighter, but I think Dubois will win.
Trainer Adam Booth echoed a similar sentiment. Booth, who's closely followed Dubois' career, has noticed a major shift in the fighter's approach. He credited Dubois' tough fights, especially against Joshua and Joyce, as key learning experiences that transformed him. Booth no longer sees Dubois as a reckless puncher, but as someone who can think tactically and switch strategies mid-fight, something he'll need to do against a master technician like Usyk.
How do you see this one, Adam, playing out?
Different to the first one. I can make much more of an argument for Dubois in this fight.
Me too.
Firstly, because he actually had success in the first fight.
He did. Do you think it was a low blow?
No.
No.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
You do think it was a low blow?
Absolutely was. If you look,
You do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, sorry, you caught me out then with the question. If you watch, it lands low, and while it's got contact with the shorts, it actually rides up at the point of impact.
So I've no use to my argument.
But it's irrelevant because they're going to fight again.
Yeah.
Usyk won the first time, and as he said, he won by stoppage. But Daniel Dubois is a different fighter now. Fighting is 90% mental, and he is a completely different fighter mentally. He lets his hands go with freedom. He now trusts his engine because he had those rounds with Jarrell Miller that tested his engine. Yeah. So he's kind of ticked the little boxes along the way, old school style.
Still, not everyone is betting against the Ukrainian. Former cruiserweight world champion Johnny Nelson gave his breakdown, and he's backing Usyk to retain his belts. Nelson doesn't see a quick knockout happening, but he does see the same pattern repeating. Usyk breaking his opponent down round by round with intelligence and pressure. He highlighted how Usyk has already handled bigger, stronger fighters in the past and always found a way to win. According to Nelson, what gives Usyk the edge is his mind. He's not just physically gifted, he's a chess player in the ring who adapts fast and outsmarts even the most dangerous challengers.
The heavyweight landscape is completely changed massively over the last 2 years. Alexander Usyk he's in a pick and plan. I'll pick him, might be 2 fights down the line, he's gone. The heavyweight landscape, they're looking for a new star, a new dominant figure. And it could involve Fabio. The boxing snob is out the window now. Moses, wicked fighter, young fighters coming through. You look at how Daniel has obviously his confidence has come up. We'll see how he goes on against Usyk. Again, he may shock the world. So the landscape has changed, which again, it's very hard to predict tomorrow.
How much of a chance do you give Daniel Dubois in comparison to the second AJ fight, the Fury fights?
I think Daniel's performance in this fight will be better than his first fight against Usyk, but I do believe Usyk will put on a better performance and probably stop Daniel, in my opinion. Usyk has forever shown the public that let me blueprint your download your blueprint and I've got your number. He beat Tyson better the second time. He beat AJ better the second time, and both fighters boxed better the second time around. So the only thing Daniel's got now, he's got unbelievable self-belief and confidence that's come since their last fight. So again, we'll just see what's changed.
Chris Algieri also had his say, focusing on Dubois' recent transformation. For Algieri, the key change is not just physical, but psychological. Dubois isn't entering the fight looking for revenge. He's coming in calm, prepared, and with a clear game plan. That newfound composure, combined with his recent wins, suggests he's matured into a serious threat, not just a hopeful contender.
The narrative is much better for the Dubois rematch. You've got the fact that they fought, and then since then, Dubois has been on a tear, beating guys that he was the underdog against, Ergovich, and then Anthony Joshua, of course. You know, the guy has like really revamped his entire career, turned it around, gone from a guy that people saw as a quitter to being potentially the most dangerous man in the world. So you've got this narrative now that Dubois is a different guy, so this rematch will be different. Also, you have the fact that Usyk, in the ring after his win over Tyson Fury, Dubois came into the ring, challenged him, and Usyk said, Your Excellency, Turkey, make the fight with Dubois. He's a man of his word. That guy says something, there's a good chance it's going to happen. So I believe the narrative is there, you know, for this fight, obviously, and this is one of the reasons why it's being made.
Jarrell Miller, who recently suffered a stoppage loss to Daniel Dubois, offered an honest appraisal of his former opponent. Having felt Dubois' power firsthand, Miller acknowledged the strides the young British heavyweight has made in his development. Looking ahead to the rematch with Alexander Usyk, Miller believes that Dubois now poses a legitimate threat, particularly if Usyk shows any signs of wear and tear from his 2 grueling contests with Tyson Fury. For Miller, the outcome of the rematch hinges largely on Usyk's physical condition, but if the Ukrainian champion isn't at his best, he sees a real possibility for Dubois to pull off the upset.
I think he's definitely graduated since our fight. Can Dubois pull it off? I think he definitely can. It depends on how much Usyk has in the tank. If he can outwit Dubois. I think it's a great fight regardless. And, you know, the best man is going to win. You know what I mean? I want my rematch with Dubois. I'm going to fuck him up, you know. But it's weird, man. Dubois is the only person that can make me want to hate him and then like him, like literally within 30 seconds of my brain, like, I want to kill this motherfucker. I like Dubois. You know, it's weird. You know, he's one of the only fighters that actually do that to me. But I realized that if you actually meet Dubois and talk to him, there's a reason why you have that love, hate, sympathy with him. You know what I'm trying to say? So, all power to Dubois. You know what I mean? Hopes he pulls it off in many ways and give him a goddamn rematch.
Adding to the growing support for Dubois, John Fury, father of Tyson Fury, has thrown his full backing behind the British challenger. Having seen his own son go 12 hard rounds with Usyk twice, Fury is convinced those taxing fights may have taken their toll on the undefeated champion. In his view, the timing favors Dubois, who brings youth, raw power, and physical presence to the ring. For Fury, this is not just a chance, it's a defining opportunity for Dubois to make his mark and seize control of the heavyweight division.
Usyk was a lucky man. Timing was right for him. That's all I can say about that. What's done's done, but let me tell you, good luck to Alexander Usyk. You know, he deserves to stay champion for a long time, but again, he's going to go on too long. And I just see now Daniel Dubois becoming a multi-belt champion soon, because how many fights you got in you? You come up from cruiserweight to heavyweight, you got these big men banging away at you. He's only got to walk into one, and the bar's up, and he's on a good win over Anthony Joshua. He had a good fight with the American Miller, you know, and at the end of the day, I just think it's a young man's game and anything can happen, but you could well see a new champion in Wembley soon.
Legendary former undisputed champion Lennox Lewis also weighed in with an analytical eye. Reflecting on their first encounter, Lewis highlighted the disputed fifth-round body shot as a moment that changed the course of the fight. While the referee deemed it low, Lewis felt it exposed a rare vulnerability in Usyk's body. He suggested that Dubois, now more experienced and strategic, may look to exploit that same weakness with greater precision. For Lewis, that moment wasn't merely controversial, it was a glimpse into a potential blueprint for victory.
I'm thinking he's ready. You know, he's been through the trials and tribulations. He's the King Slayer, and he's got the power. He's been there before, so he was just there. He knocked the guy down, so he knows what he needs to do. So it would be great for him to do it. Another man do it for Great Britain. It's not an easy task, but he's definitely the man that can go through with it. He's done the work, he's gone through the pedigree, and he's a certified champion. So, you know, I think he has big hopes on doing it. He's gonna do it. It's definitely his place. He's at home. He's focused, he's determined. This is his dream. So, you know, there's nothing stopping him.
You were there that night in September last year when he took on Anthony Joshua in front of 96,000 people. Were you shocked by what you saw that night?
Not shocked. I knew Daniel had it in him. The fact that he had the confidence to go out there, even the ring walk, I could tell was pretty solid going out there. And I was very happy for him when he won, because that shot came from right field and it met its target. So I was happy for him.
Fraser Clark added a layer of realism to the discussion, acknowledging Dubois' progress, but cautioning that brute force won't be enough against someone as clever and composed as Usyk. Clark recognized the improvements in Dubois' maturity and technique, but stressed that beating Usyk will require more than just power. It will demand flawless execution, ring IQ, and mental discipline. For Clark, this makes the rematch a genuinely intriguing contest filled with tactical possibilities.
It gives a lot more. It's a different Dubois. It's a different fight. I think he gives a lot more problem. I think he's got a lot more confidence. I think he's starting to realise when he hits things, things fall over. You know, if he hits them often enough and clean enough, it doesn't matter who you are, if you're Usyk or whoever else. I know he's a tough man, Usyk, but if Daniel hits you often enough and hard enough, you break. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. Saying that, I know he's in great form and that, but this Usyk, mate, he's the real deal, mate. So no one just get giddy and get too excited about Daniel, mate. We're talking about the real deal, and Alexander Usyk. When he needs to be tough and tough, and when he needs to be super smart, he's that as well. But I think Daniel, with the wave of confidence he's got, would cause him more problems now than he did before, definitely.
Heavyweight contender Fabio Wardley echoed that perspective, speaking from experience after sparring with both men. In his view, Usyk's edge lies in his fluid movement and his uncanny ability to stay composed under pressure. Wardley believes that even with Dubois' recent upgrades, Usyk's adaptability and accuracy will likely prove too much. His belief is that the champion's experience at the elite level and consistent poise in the ring will tip the fight in Usyk's favor once again.
Still a fantastic fight regardless. Obviously, Dubois had a bit of growing since his first time out with Usyk. So yeah, it still makes for a very intriguing fight, but I do think for the most part it's pretty much going to go the same way. Not to take anything away from Daniel and his progression over time, but ultimately I just think Usyk is a hard man to bet against at the moment.
Chris Eubank Jr. also voiced support for Dubois, though his stance appeared to be influenced more by personal history than boxing analysis. With a history of tension involving Usyk, stemming from the Ukrainian's public backing of Eubank's rival Conor Benn, Eubank's endorsement seemed emotionally driven. Nonetheless, his vocal support added further media attention to the bout, reflecting the heightened interest surrounding this high-stakes rematch.
I saw something about Usyk saying that he thought Conor Benn won the fight. I don't know if this is true. I can't imagine that he watched that fight and thought that Conor Benn won, because it's just, you know, I landed twice as many punches. But people are telling me it's true. If that's the truth, then I'm low-key rooting for Dubois.
Team Dubois, absolutely.
Because that's crazy. That's really crazy to me. And I've met Usyk a bunch of times and we've always been cool, so I was kind of shocked to see that.
Veteran trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas took a more reflective tone in his assessment. He acknowledged that both fighters have undergone important emotional and psychological journeys. For Usyk, Atlas pointed to the deep personal struggles and national conflict he's endured in recent years as factors that may have deepened his focus and resolve. On the other hand, Atlas applauded Dubois' ability to rebuild his confidence after suffering difficult setbacks earlier in his career. To him, the mental and emotional growth Dubois has shown leading up to this fight is just as critical as any physical improvement, making him a far more complete and dangerous opponent this time around.
I have respect for both guys. And look, we're close to Usyk, so I'm not going to hide that. And I think a lot of both of them, as men, forget about fighters, as men, I think a lot of Usyk, the man he is, what he's done really for his country, to really fight during the pressure of his country being torn apart and invaded by another country, by Russia, and to fight during those times and that going on in his country with his people, and just, like I said, just destroying what he loves, Ukraine. And I also have a lot of respect for Dubois, for the man he is and what he's become. That he fell apart in 2 fights. Yeah, different things happen, I get it, but physical things happen in the fight with Joyce, and then in the fight with Usyk, where Usyk, some people think that it should have been a punch to the body.
Not everyone is convinced that the tide is turning, though. Former heavyweight champion Shannon Briggs remains firm in his belief that Usyk will come out on top. In his eyes, it's not about physical attributes like size or youth, it's about intelligence. Briggs emphasized Usyk's remarkable ability to read opponents and make quick tactical adjustments. For Briggs, that level of ring mastery is what sets Usyk apart from the rest of the division, and it's why he expects the Ukrainian to hold on to his championship status.
Oh, wow, long time. You're the champ. Let's go, champ.
Alexander Usyk's going to face Daniel Dubois in England and Wembley. Who do you think wins that one?
I like Usyk.
As July 19th approaches, the stage is set for a battle that carries enormous stakes, not just for titles, but for legacies. Usyk, at 38, is still undefeated, but has been through 2 wars with Tyson Fury that may have taken a toll. Dubois, 11 years younger and riding high after 3 knockout victories, believes the time is now. He's confident, he's strong, and he's hungry. Whether Usyk's experience and skill will once again outclass a powerful but still evolving challenger, or whether Dubois' growth and fire will produce a seismic shock remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, this rematch is not just a rerun, it's a fresh fight between 2 very different men than the ones who met a year ago.